Hello YouTube, it's Blackie with Shaman's Forest Bushcraft with a little bit of an update. One of my subscribers noticed that probably 2 years ago, maybe even 3 years ago now, I did a review of Rough Rider pocket knives, and he wanted to know that I still like them, have they held up. So that's what this is response to. My answer is a resounding yes. They have held up very, very well. Certainly greater than what I'd expected for the price. None of the knives I'm going to show you were over 20 bucks. The vast majority of them were 16, 17 bucks, that was it. And I got them out of nostalgia because I like slip joint knives. I grew up with them, used them extensively, still use them extensively. And I'm a little bit of a knife person. Now how that means is, I've got this little shelf, and on it has got all my pocket knives. And depending on what I'm going to do today is which pocket knife I grab and throw in my pocket, or what I feel like today. So all of these knives get carried regularly. You know, I'm doing a suit and tie day, I've got to, do stuff, and I'll grab a small knife, slide in my pocket. I'm going to be out doing stuff, so I'll grab the bigger knife, whatever. Not included in this is that big old Granddaddy Barlow I've got, and a few other knives that I also have, but I just brought a couple to talk about, and one that's not a Rough Rider, but we'll get to that in a minute. I discovered these knives because a friend of mine who's a collector, he collects case knives and antique pocket knives, and he does not have any problem dropping $300 for a rare model. He's got a very extensive collection. You go into his den, and there's this probably 8 by 12 foot section of wall that's pocket knives and unique things like that. Pardon the wind, got some weather coming through. So I had gone over there for Christmas a couple of years ago, and he handed me this pocket knife, and he said, what did I think of it? Knowing his passion for expensive knives, I looked at it, and it was a very nice, good looking knife, well solid built, etc. And he said, now take a guess how much that knife costs. I said $70 or $80. I thought it was a case, to be honest with you. He said, nope, it's a Rough Rider. To my door was $21. Then I asked, was it fake? Does it look real good, but it's zinc blades or something? He said, no, it's actually high carbon, scratch that. Carbon count stainless, high count carbon in stainless steel, which has certain advantages. But it had been properly Rockwell hardened, so it holds an edge well, it does all the job, it just doesn't rust easy, and stainless doesn't deteriorate as fast as carbon in the field. So stainless does have a place, especially in a hot, sweaty South Alabama redneck's pocket where it's being constantly bombarded by sweat and heat and humidity. Stainless is the way to go for a pocket knife. So I ended up getting a couple of them, and I tried them out, and that's what my video was that I was talking about. And now after a couple of years, I can say it's a good investment. These are good knives. Now these knives have been carried at least every couple of days, at least every other week. They're in my pocket. I mean, no matter which one of these is, I've got about probably a dozen, and I swap them in and out as my whim suits it, because I like all of the designs. If I'm doing a specific job, I grab the specific one for that job. If I'm just general carrying, I carry what I pick up today. What's the flavor of the day? Okay. Now, probably the most common one I'm carrying in my pocket right now is this one. This is a little 3-blade I got from Rough Rider. It has the little bitty pin blade. It has the fillet blade in it, very small, very sharp, and then it has a broader type of spear point blade in it for general cutting. This thing's become very near and dear to me because A, it's red, I can see it if I drop it. It's done tarnished, the nickel silver bolsters, and it's starting to get a little bit of patina starting up on the springs from just continuous carry. But I mean, maybe you can hear it, it snaps, it locks, it doesn't lock, but it's got that place that it sets, and it's got the safety place right there where if you bump it, it'll drop into that one rather than closing on your hand. Well made, well designed out. It's actual bone handles, red these, but it's actual bone. the real pretty 2-blade trapper I carried quite a bit. Now this one a lot of times rides on a belt pouch, but I mean it's done excellent, and like you can hear, snaps. The most abuse, I guess you'd say, has been this one. This is the camp knife. I have several friends who have young men who are now entering into the Cub Scouts. And so Uncle Blackie has been helping them with their knife work and etc. And so we carve soap, we carve whatever. We get together and we whittle on a stick, like William Collins says. And they've got their little Cub Scout knife, so I use this one. And I have showed them how to do all kinds of stuff. And of course they watch my videos and they say, Blackie, can we split this up or split that up? And so I volunteered to use this instead of bringing out another pocket knife. And it's good. Holds an edge well, endures really well. It's been a real good knife, especially because none of these knives was over 20 bucks. I figured, you know, eventually, yeah, it looks good, but eventually, you know what I mean? A lot of times in today's society, we buy a product and it looks good, and when you pick it up, it seems to be a good product, but then down the line, this part rusts, that part cracks, this falls out, that pin gets loose, whatever. I haven't experienced any of that. And I've had case knives, I've had all the expensive knives, and these have performed as well as my case knives have. Now the last knife I'm going to talk about is not the Rough Rider. It's that Marbles that I got and did a video about using it as a game processing knife, which I have used. And I believe, this is me, don't quote me, I think this knife is being made by Rough Rider for marbles. And I base that upon the finger nicks. They've got that match striker nicks on them. It's actual, you know, staghorn. It's all the same features. The quality is the same. The price is in the same ballpark. I think they're getting them made by them. It's held up real well too. Hold on a second. Okay, so in answer to my subscriber's question, yes, the Rough Rider pocket knives have held up. They've held up to daily use. They've held up to anything I would expect of a pocket knife to do, and then some. The springs have held up wonderfully. The finish has held up. The bone handles have not cracked and split. Although if you get real close, sometimes you can see a little minor cracking around it, but I expect that in any piece of bone. And they hold a nail, an edge, within reason, you know. It is a good Rockwell hardness of a high carbon count stainless steel. It don't rust. It holds an edge, it keeps the edge, and it's relatively easy to sharpen in the field. That's what I want out of a pocket knife down here in my south. Hope this helps, guys. If you get the opportunity, pick up a couple of these knives and try them out for yourself. They're cheap enough to be a daily carry. They're cheap enough to be left in the glove box of the truck. And I know that there's going to be those who say that the quality of case is much better. I'm not going to argue with you. I think case is a fantastic knife. And if I'm buying knives for collections, case are a good thing. I'm buying a knife for a daily carry in hot, humid, sweaty environment. Something that I could get a hold in the pocket, I could lay down and walk off. If I accidentally laid down and walked off from a $17 knife versus an $80 case knife, just my 2 cents worth. I'm Blackie for Shaman's Forge Bushcraft, wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.